People don't accept less because they're weak. They accept less because it feels like something they already know. And familiar feels safe, even when it's not. People don't choose what they deserve, they choose what they recognize. That's the part no one likes to admit. Because deserve sounds fair, but recognition is what actually drives decisions. What feels normal? What feels expected? What feels like this makes sense for me? And that normal didn't come from truth, it came from repetition. Early experiences, past relationships, what you were shown, what you were allowed to expect. You didn't sit down and decide, this is what I deserve. You adapted, and then you stayed there. Here's the part that doesn't feel logical. People will stay in something uncomfortable just because they understand it. Because predictable pain is easier to manage than unfamiliar calm. At least with pain, you know the rules. You know what to expect. You know how to respond. You know how to recover. But peace is unfamiliar. There's no tension to prepare for, no pattern to follow. And that absence feels unstable at first. So instead of stepping into something better, people return to something known, not because it's good, because it's clear. When you accept less, it feels controlled. You feel prepared. You feel realistic. You feel like you're protecting yourself because you're not reaching. You're not risking disappointment. You're not exposing yourself to something uncertain. So it feels like maturity, like you learned something. But what you've actually done is reduce the range of what you allow. And once that range is reduced, everything inside it feels acceptable, even if it's not. You don't rise to what you want. You settle at what you believe you can hold. And that belief is quiet. You don't say it out loud, but it shows up in what you accept. If your self-worth is low, better opportunities feel uncomfortable. Healthy relationships feel unfamiliar. Ease feels suspicious. Stability feels temporary. So you step down, not intentionally, but consistently, until your reality matches what feels believable. This is where people get stuck. They say, I'm being realistic. I don't need much. I'm okay with this. And on the surface, it sounds calm. But calm and numb are not the same. Peace feels open. Settling feels closed. Peace has space. Settling has limits. But if you've been in that space long enough, you stop noticing the difference. You call it stability and stay there. There's a hidden benefit to accepting less. It lowers expectations. And when expectations are low, there's less risk. You don't have to fully try. You don't have to be seen. You don't have to be judged. You don't have to find out what happens if you actually go for more. So it feels safe. Because nothing is really at stake, but nothing grows there either. People don't just stay where they're comfortable. They stay where they feel they belong. Even if that place is limiting. Even if it's smaller than what you want. Even if it matches your identity, it feels right. And changing that comes with a cost. Outgrowing people, outgrowing roles, outgrowing environments. And that shift creates distance, and distance feels like loss. So people return, not because they should, because it feels like home. You don't get more by asking for it. You get more by becoming someone who doesn't question it. And that's the part most people avoid, because becoming that version feels unnatural at first. It challenges what you're used to. It changes what you tolerate. It changes what you accept. And once that changes, your old environment doesn't fit the same way. So you have a choice. Stay the same or step into something unfamiliar. Most people stay. Not because they want less, because more requires a different identity. People don't accept less because they want to suffer. They accept less because it matches what feels believable, what feels expected, what feels safe. And as long as something feels safe, it's hard to question. even if it's limiting you. But the moment you start questioning it, something shifts, not outside, inside. And once that shift happens, what used to feel normal starts to feel small. You don't need to chase more. You need to notice what you've been accepting quietly, consistently, without questioning it. Because every time you accept less, you confirm something. Not about the world, about yourself. What you believe is enough. What you believe is possible. What you believe you can hold. And that belief sets the boundary for everything that follows. So the shift is not, how do I get more? It's, why does it feel acceptable? Because once that changes, everything else adjusts. Not immediately, but inevitably. Opportunities feel different. Standards feel different. Decisions feel different. Not because the world changed, because you did. And once you stop agreeing with what's too small for you, you don't have to chase more. You stop going back to less. And that alone changes your direction permanently.